Hey there folks, it's Briando here again. Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about a big problem that many dental practices face, and that is staff stress. We'll be looking at some of the root causes, and most importantly, I'll be giving you some really helpful ideas on how to slash staff stress once and for all. If you're an office manager, a practice owner, or part of the front of house admin team, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. The daily grind of working in a practice that has challenges around organization can feel like wading through treacle. I want you to picture this. Imagine you're a patient, you walk into the practice, and the first thing you see is Rhonda, the receptionist. But Rhonda doesn't see you. Why? Well, because there's no eye contact. Rhonda's gaze is firmly fixed between the top of her monitor screen and her keyboard. Her face is screwed, her forehead is wrinkled. You can almost see the steam coming from Rhonda's ears. Now, is this because Rhonda is a nasty person? Is it because Rhonda has zero communication skills and doesn't like interacting with patients? Of course not. Rhonda loves working with patients, but she's under so much stress. It feels like she's juggling 101 things all at once. Her switching from system to system is causing her problems. She's searching for a handwritten note that she stuck to the top of her monitor screen and now has gone missing. She's dealing with billing, she's dealing with insurance claims, she's rekeying handwritten forms from patients into her 15-year-old practice management system. Basically, Rhonda is having a nightmare of a day, and for this reason she doesn't even notice the person standing right in front of her. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can slash your staff stress, I would say by 50%, with smart automation, so that Rhonda has time to do the most important thing, and that is to take your patient from start to finish on the patient journey, making sure the beginning and the end are impeccable, so that when that patient leaves, they have no other option but to give you a 5-star review. I want to focus on 5 of the major areas that are known to cause stress in dental practices. But Briando, I hear you say, surely they're more than just 5 sources of stress. Yeah, you're right, 100%. So if you hang around until the end of this video, I'm going to be sharing a resource with you that's so valuable that you're probably going to want to send me an early Christmas present. It summarizes the topic neatly in checklist format from the perspective of the different members of your team that work in practice: managers, owners, admin staff. Everyone will get a slightly different perspective on this issue. But for now, let's take a look at these 5 problems so that we can understand how heavy these burdens can be. And then, of course, I'm going to give you practical ideas and technical solutions to help you fix these problems once and for all. So let's jump in. So Let's start with the elephant in the room. I call it outdated Frankenstein software systems. Many practices are stuck with old software that's been patched together with newer tools over the years in order to make things work. The result is a spaghetti of different tools where one platform struggles to communicate with the other. It's almost like one person speaking Russian, the other person speaking Chinese. Yes, there's body language, there's sign language. They can just about make out what's trying to be said, but the time that it takes to be 100% clear on what's being said is a waste of time. When your systems are outdated or broken or simply don't fit together well, your team has to find manual workarounds because the work still needs to be done. This wastes precious time and it increases the chances of mistakes happening. We're human after all, and we make mistakes under pressure. It's like trying to run a modern business with tools from the past. Why is your team spending time piecing together patient records from different systems every time they need to find a file? Doesn't make sense. Remember, every minute lost is a minute that could be spent on patient care. And every error is going to cost your practice time, money, or both. Next up, lack of training on tools you've already got. I mean, this is a big one. Picture this. You're taken to Silverstone Grand Prix racetrack. That's a racetrack in the UK. You're sat in a state-of-the-art F1 racing car that's capable of speeds in excess of 220 miles per hour. But up until now, all you've ever driven is a Honda Civic. When that engine gets switched on and you put your foot on the accelerator, you're going to have some problems, right? Now, every receptionist doesn't need the driving skills of Lewis Hamilton, but you get my point. Without proper training, even the best technology can become a huge burden. Any team member is going to feel lost, frustrated, and stressed out because they aren't confident using these tools. They're not confident using tools they've not been properly trained on. Now, when someone doesn't know how to operate these tools, let alone get the most out of them, mistakes are going to happen and work will slow down. This lack of training probably means staff are going to stick to their old habits, missing out on improvements that could save time and reduce stress. Okay, let's continue. Manual data entry overload, aka keyboard karate. This is one of those tasks that they just wear your team down like a millstone. When your staff members have to enter the same information over and over and over again, it's like a death by 1,000 cuts. Repeating this kind of copy-paste purgatory not only drains motivation, but it also opens the door for, guess what? More errors. Look, a typo in a message to a patient is one thing, that's bad enough, but mistakes in billing, in insurance claims, these can cost you big time. Think about it. How exhausting is it to do the same repetitive job all day long? Over time, small errors, they all add up. The stress of constant dull work will eventually take its toll on your team's spirit, on their productivity, or even on their mental health as well. Moving on, number 4, your staff are being overwhelmed by incoming calls and poor communication tools. Come on, you know what I'm talking about here. The phone never stops ringing sometimes. Okay, it's part of business. In many dental offices, outdated communication systems mean that during certain bottlenecks, your team is bombarded with endless calls and messages that they can't keep up with. This constant ringing and the chaos of managing too many calls at the same time can really overwhelm your admin team. And when a patient can't get a response in a reasonable time, then what happens? The existing patient feels ignored, they feel neglected. Prospective patients, well, they're not going to hang around. They won't bat an eyelid. They're going to be speed dialing the next practice in Google reviews to speak to them instead. And on a bad day, it can be like a vicious cycle. Your team feels the pressure of not being able to keep up. Hopefully they can rein it back in before things really get out of control. This stress makes everyone's day much longer and much more tiring. It really becomes hard for your team to focus on important tasks when they're constantly interrupted by the phone. But regardless of what your team are doing, the phone has to be answered, no doubt about it. And finally, point number 5, let's talk about the big one, the failure to automate Groundhog Day tasks. Routine things, sending review requests, sending reminders in the lead up to an appointment, filling patient forms. When these tasks are done by hand, everything just slows down. These processes are not only time consuming, but are also much easier to make mistakes on. Once again, our friend, the error bogeyman, pops his head up. Just imagine if an AI employee or an automated workflow could handle these repetitive tasks for you, so you can focus, you and your team can focus on the work that really, really matters. The stuff that AI and robots just won't master for a few years to come. Now, without automation, your team spends hours on tasks that a line of code, well-written integration can handle in seconds, without fatigue, without making errors. All this constant manual work all adds up over the long term. Days filled with stress, leaving little time to take care and pay attention to the most important thing, the patients. Okay, so what's the answer? Now that we've seen how these issues hit your practice really hard, let's talk about how you can make a change. Here are some practical ideas and technical features to look out for when you're assessing new software platforms that are going to help you tackle these stress balls head on. Okay, so for those outdated Frankenstein-esque software systems, what you need to do is start by looking for an integrated software platform. Yes, the place to start is here, your practice management software system. If you've been using the same on-prem software for the last 10 years, maybe it's time to reassess. Will it require time? Yes. Will it require your team learning some new things? Yeah, of course, for sure. When looked at strategically though, the clever thing to do is the hard stuff today, so tomorrow things are going to be easier. Choose a system that can share information automatically, seamlessly. Either a modern cloud-based practice management system or a patient communication system that sits on top of your practice management system. These are places to start. Make sure that it integrates flawlessly. It must integrate well if it's a communication system sitting on top of the practice management system. Some of the most popular practice management systems have been around for decades. They're trying to change, no doubt about that. They're trying to release new tools that sit on top of the old system, but fundamentally, these systems were built at a time when having a database of patients was enough. So, for them to now pivot to include all this new functionality that's needed to address these new challenges is difficult. Sometimes the hill's just too steep to climb. Modern tools can address these challenges though. A good centralized dashboard should really be able to cope with scheduling, billing, creating, reading, updating patient records, just like a hot knife carving through butter. Now, with all your data neatly connected, your staff members aren't going to have to jump from one system to another. It's just going to be a case of tick, 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 done. This kind of integration not only saves time, but also reduces the risk of errors. Yes, bye-bye, Mr. Error Bogeyman. Imagine a clean, connected system where every piece of data just flows. It's in the right place at the right time, just at your fingertips, exactly when you need it. This is the game changer. And what about the issue of insufficient training on modern tools? Tools that already exist within your business. Well, what I'd say is don't be the practice with the Ferrari and no one to drive it. Make sure that any new technology comes with easy to follow training or support or both. Look for tools that offer built-in tutorials, simple user guides, and even video lessons as well, so that your team can learn on the go, learn over time, learn in their own time even. This way, people can really take advantage of the new tools that you put at their disposal and reduce those levels of stress. When everyone really understands how to use the system, confidence skyrockets and the risk of errors drops down. The trick: make your team feel excited about using these tools with the promise and reward that knowing how to operate the tools is going to make their day, going to make it easier, it's going to make it smoother, it's going to make it more fun at the end of the day. Next, let's tackle manual data entry. The solution for this is pretty straightforward. Consider automation features that can handle data entry for you. Look for software that uses autofill forms, optical character recognition, OCR, to capture information quickly and accurately. Look for AI-driven speech-to-text note-taking tools as well. These tools take away the repetitive, boring, error-prone work. They free your staff to do more valuable tasks. With automated data processing, mistakes, they're minimized and your team can spend less time on the tedious stuff. And let's face it, no one likes doing that at all. This simple change can boost your morale and can improve accuracy in all aspects of what you're doing. But here's the thing, anything to do with billing and insurance claims, handling pay, attention to detail, these are big ticket items. If in doubt, keep a human in the loop, but have them there to check the work, not to do the work. Okay, we're almost there. Number 4, excessive phone call volume and poor communication. How do we handle this? What you need to do here is really to upgrade your communication systems to a more modern, integrated platform. A unified system that combines phones, email, text messaging, internal team comms. These can make a huge difference. With features like automated appointment confirmations, cancellations, patients can even manage their own appointments with just a few clicks. This means that fewer interruptions for your staff, more efficient ways to keep everyone informed, all vital things. Better communication tools help reduce the chaos and the constant calls and let your team focus on what matters most, caring for patients. I'm reminded of the old Chinese proverb here. When's the best time to plant a tree? Well, of course, 20 years ago. Well, when's the next best time? Today. And finally, let's round things off with workflow automation. What you need to do is look for systems that automate your scheduling, your appointment reminders, and filling in patient forms. With these tools in place, routine tasks, they're just handled automatically, reducing the human error count and saving your team countless hours every week. Automation and some of the new AI-powered solutions coming onto the market are like a reliable assistant, if you like, that never takes a break, ensuring that every reminder goes out every time. Every follow-up is handled smoothly, almost like Barry White would have serenaded a new girlfriend. This shift can transform your daily ops and allow your team to work smarter, not harder. So there's a lot of information we've covered today. We've looked at 5 of the main sources of stress. We've discussed some really good workable solutions. And what I would like to say now is the key message is to aim to get your systems working together. Do this and you'll create an environment where your practice runs like a well-oiled machine. Stress drops, productivity rises, and your team has more time and energy to care for your patients. Look, no doubt, making changes to your technology is not easy. Whether you need to update a few key systems or even completely overhaul your tech stack, choosing the right tool is essential. The goal is to create a work environment where your processes are streamlined, efficient, so staff can work in a stress-free, happy and productive environment. But before we wrap up, I want to share something extra with you that I mentioned before. It's a downloadable checklist that dives even deeper into ways to slash the stress in your dental practice. All you have to do is click the first link in the comments below, in the details below. If these challenges sound familiar, but you need some extra help choosing the right tech for your practice, all you need to do is book a practice strategy review with me, Briando, and you can do that by clicking the second link in the description below. So, thanks for watching. Have fun slashing staff stress. I'm Briando. If you found this video useful, perhaps you'll consider hitting the like button, subscribe button, or bell button below, so you can get these insights ahead of the competition. And it's also a big help for me as well in growing this channel. So take care, keep smiling, and I'll see you on the next video.